If you walk into a dealership in America today, you are being sold a technological illusion. You are being told that the vehicle you are buying is the absolute pinnacle of modern automotive engineering. It isn't. In fact, it is years behind. But you don't know that because the United States government has quietly built an invisible wall around its borders. They aren't just keeping out foreign cars. They are actively banning the underlying technology that makes those cars revolutionary. We are talking about autonomous predictive software, laser mapping hardware, and batteries that charge faster than you can drink a cup of coffee. Citing national security, the U.S. has effectively locked American drivers out of the future. Today, we are leaking the files. We are breaking down 3 specific, mind-bending Chinese auto technologies that are currently banned, restricted, or tariffed into oblivion, and exactly what America doesn't want you to see. The setup. The Great American Firewall. For the last century, the United States dictated what a car was supposed to be. From the Model T to the modern muscle car, Detroit set the global standard. But right now, we are living through a massive, quiet shift in power. The gap between what Western consumers think is happening in the automotive space and what is actually happening on the streets of Shenzhen and Shanghai is staggering. When most Americans think of Chinese cars, they still picture the cheap, plasticky knockoffs from 2012. Meanwhile, in reality, China is currently producing 2,000 horsepower, supercar-slaying sedans that can parallel park themselves by driving sideways. So, how does a country protect its domestic auto industry when the competition is suddenly building spaceships? Simple. You don't just tax the spaceships, you ban the software that makes them fly. In early 2025, the U.S. Commerce Department finalized sweeping regulations targeting connected vehicles. But this wasn't a standard trade dispute. This was a targeted strike. The U.S. government cited extreme national security risks, essentially labeling next-generation Chinese EVs as surveillance platforms on wheels. They drafted rules to completely prohibit the use of Chinese connectivity software starting with model year 2027 and hardware by model year 2030. But here is the retention anchor for today's video. The one thing you need to realize before we move forward: these bans aren't just keeping Chinese cars out. They are forcing legacy American and European automakers to strip highly advanced, affordable tech out of their own vehicles just to legally sell them to you. You are paying more money for worse technology and you're doing it with a smile. Let's look at the exact tech you are missing out on, starting with the brains of the operation. Technology number 1. V2X Swarm Intelligence and autonomous software we need to talk about. V2X vehicle-to-everything connectivity. Right now, if you buy a brand new, top-of-the-line Western EV, its smart features are mostly isolated. It has a camera that sees the lines on the road and a radar that bounces off the bumper of the car in front of you. It is a lone wolf trying to survive in traffic. Chinese tech giants like Huawei and Baidu aren't building lone wolves. They are building a hive mind. In China, advanced V2X systems allow a car to talk to absolutely everything around it. We aren't just talking about your car syncing to your Spotify account. We are talking about a car that communicates with the traffic lights, the toll booths, the pedestrian crosswalks, and every other connected vehicle within a multi-mile radius. Let me give you a scenario. You are driving down a highway at 70 miles per hour in a Huawei-powered EV, running their Harmony OS and ADS 5.0 advanced driving system. 3 miles ahead of you, a truck drops a massive box of cargo onto the road. You can't see it. Your cameras can't see it. But another connected car did see it and instantly uploaded that exact GPS coordinate and threat level to the cloud. Before your foot even twitches toward the brake pedal, your car already knows the box is there, calculates the exact trajectory to switch lanes, and safely glides around the hazard. It is predictive swarm intelligence driving. It is the closest thing to digital telepathy, and the United States government is absolutely terrified of it. Under the guise of the Connected Vehicle Security Act, the U.S. Senate and Commerce Department have aggressively moved to purge this tech from American soil. Why? Because a car that talks to everything is also a car that records everything. The Department of Defense and U.S. lawmakers argue that these systems, which require constant, massive data streams, could be weaponized. They argue that a Chinese-made telematics module could map sensitive U.S. military bases, track the daily routines of government officials, or, in a nightmare cyber warfare scenario, be remotely hijacked to cause synchronized traffic chaos across a major American city. Is the threat real? Maybe, but here is the brutal side effect. Because the U.S. is aggressively purging Chinese code, automakers are in a state of sheer panic. Brands like Volvo and Polestar, which are owned by China's Geely, are scrambling to completely untangle their supply chains. Ford is actively begging the U.S. Department of Commerce for waivers just so they can keep importing the Lincoln Nautilus, which relies on Chinese-assembled components. General Motors is desperately instructing suppliers to eliminate Chinese-made modules by 2027. The result? American automakers are being forced to build their own software architectures from scratch, spending billions of dollars to reinvent the wheel. And who pays for those billions in R&D? You do. When you buy a 2027 model year car in the U.S., you will be paying a premium for a rushed domestic software system that is inherently less capable than the Huawei systems currently. Navigating Beijing rush hour flawlessly, you are being isolated from the global standard of vehicular intelligence, but the software is only half the battle. They are also banning the eyes of the machine. Technology number 2. Automotive LiDAR and the defense blacklist of software is the brain. LiDAR is the optic nerve. LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging. Instead of relying on regular optical cameras, which can be blinded by the sun, confused by shadows, or rendered useless in a heavy snowstorm, LiDAR fires millions of laser pulses per second out into the world. It measures exactly how long it takes for those lasers to bounce off objects and return to the sensor, creating a hyper-accurate real-time 3D map of the car's surroundings. Tesla famously abandoned LiDAR, with Elon Musk calling it a crutch and claiming that if humans can drive using only eyes, cameras, cars should be able to do the same. But Chinese automakers completely ignored him. They went all in on LiDAR. Companies like Hesai Technology and RoboSense started manufacturing automotive-grade LiDAR at a massive scale, driving the cost down from tens of thousands of dollars per unit to just a few $100. Today, if you buy a premium Chinese like an Avatar 12 or an Xpeng P7 Plus, it doesn't just have one LiDAR sensor. It might have 3 or 4 seamlessly integrated into the roofline and the bumpers. This creates what they call ghost peaking detection. A Chinese EV with quad LiDAR can literally see a toddler running out from behind a parked van in the pitch black of night and apply emergency brakes in 0.3 seconds. 3/10ths of a second. It is a level of safety technology that borders on supernatural. So, what did the United States do? They put the leading manufacturer on a military blacklist. In early 2024, the U.S. Department of Defense officially added Hesai Technology to a list of Chinese military companies. The implication was severe. The Pentagon was accusing a company that makes civilian car parts of feeding high-resolution 3D topographical maps of American streets directly back to the People's Liberation Army. Hesai fought back furiously. They sued the Pentagon, pointing out that their LiDAR units are completely incapable of storing data or transmitting it. They are literal hardware sensors. They just bounce lasers and send the raw data to the car's internal computer. They argued it was equivalent to banning a specific brand of a glass mirror because it might reflect a state secret. Furthermore, they pointed out that their products are classified as EAR 99 by the Bureau of Industry and Security, meaning they are fundamentally not suitable for military application. Hesai claimed the blacklist was the result of a vicious lobbying campaign by American LiDAR companies who were years behind in tech, failing to deliver affordable products, and using anti-China sentiment to artificially wipe out their superior competition. For a brief moment, Hesai actually won. The DOD had to temporarily remove them from the list due to legal concerns. But the writing is permanently on the wall. Congress and the Commerce Department are constantly writing new rules to cut Chinese hardware out of the U.S. market entirely. Here's why this hurts you. Right now, U.S. automakers want to use LiDAR to make their cars safer. But if they are legally terrified of buying the cheapest, most advanced sensors on the planet from China, they have to buy inferior, hyper-expensive sensors from Western startups. And once again, that cost is slapped directly onto your window sticker. You are driving a car that is less capable of seeing in the dark simply because of the badge on the sensor. But there is one thing holding back the EV revolution more than software and sensors. It is the one thing everyone hates about electric cars: charging. And China has already solved it. Let's be honest. The number one reason the average American doesn't want to buy an electric vehicle is range anxiety. Nobody wants to sit in a gloomy Walmart parking lot for 45 minutes in the dead of winter, waiting for their car to scrape together enough juice to make it home. In America, we are told that this is just the reality of EVs. We just have to deal with it until solid-state batteries arrive in 2030. That is a lie. The waiting era is already over. Over in China, two titans, CATL and BYD, have achieved total mastery over LFP, lithium iron phosphate battery chemistry. Let's look at CATL's Shengsing superfast charging battery. Through absolutely borderline magical advancements in nanocrystallized cathode materials and highly conductive electrolyte formulas, CATL has created a battery that charges at a 5 Celsius rate. If you don't speak battery nerd, let me translate. 5C means it can absorb electricity so violently fast that you can add 250 miles of driving range in 10 minutes. You pull up to a station, plug the car in, walk inside, buy a bag of chips, use the restroom, walk back out, and your car is ready for a cross-state road trip. It fundamentally erases range anxiety. Furthermore, LFP chemistry is inherently safer than the fiery lithium-ion batteries we use in the West. You can practically drive a nail through a BYD blade battery and it won't catch fire.